Let's paint this peaceful scene with watercolors. More info in the description box. I'll start with wet on wet technique. That sure is my favorite technique. Make sure to wet the whole area evenly, and if you want, you can check my sketch in the link in the description. I'm using a flat brush loaded with ultramarine blue, and I'm painting around the moon, starting off a bit far from the moon and slowly getting closer. With the same color, I'll paint some texture on the moon. Check whether your paper is soaking wet or not. Timing is the key here. My paper is not really soaking wet and it's sort of starting to dry a bit. So you'll notice that my paint is not spreading too far. That's permanent violet mixed with a bit of blue for the water. Feel free to change the colors to your liking. With the same pigment, I'll add texture on the mountain. It's also important to note that I'm using a 100% cotton paper, which gives me slower drying time. So if you're using a wood pulp or student grade paper that is not 100% cotton, please make sure to observe how fast or how slow it dries. With my brush rinsed and dried by tapping on a paper towel, I'll lift some paint to redefine the shape of the moon. Again, my paper hasn't completely dried yet at this stage, so I can still drop paint to go darker. Leave this to dry, then let's define the mountain and the house. Same color, permanent violet, but I'll introduce quinacridone rose or pink for variation. I want the top of the mountain defined while the bottom part faded in the background. So to do that, I'll just soften or erase the bottom bit with my rinsed brush. Buildings and structure are really challenging for me, so pardon the shape of the house. With blue mixed with violet, I'll add some texture on the mountain by using a small brush. This is wet on damp technique. While the paper is still wet, I'll lift some parts with a semi-dry brush. It's not visible in the camera, but every time I lift up some paint, I am drying my brush by tapping it on a paper towel. I'll now switch to a flat brush for the house. That's permanent violet again. If you don't have a convenient mix of violet that is to your liking, you might want to try mixing not red plus blue, but pink plus blue. And let me know if that works for you. Adding shadow on the roof with violet plus brown. Just add more water on your mixture to achieve this pale color. Now, that's neutral tint for the details. If you don't have this color, worry not. You can try mixing blue, violet, and brown, or black and blue, or black and violet. This part is really tricky. You might want to grab the smallest brush that you have to paint thin lines. Or if you're not that confident, you can try using ink instead. A regular gel pen will do, and just draw directly on your painting. Continue adding details as you see fit. So, here's our question of the day. What paper are you using right now? Or are you planning to use when you paint along? Do you have a favorite brand of watercolor paper? Let me know in the comment section below. If you're liking this video so far, don't forget to boop the like button so more people can paint along with us. Thanks so much! Now for the barren branches, I loaded my brush with violet plus blue and I am painting away from the trunk. It's easier that way. Try painting away and not towards the trunk and let me know if that trick also works for you. I am deliberately painting broken branches because I'll add white paint later for a winter look. If needed, you can practice painting branches on a separate paper. You don't know how many paintings I've sort of ruined just because I wasn't able to paint thin lines before when I was just starting with watercolors. But with enough patience and experience, you too can confidently paint thin lines. So don't be too harsh on yourself, okay? Now I'm loading my brush with white paint, more paint than water ratio for the snowy branches. Splatter for additional effect, though some parts are not really visible because I like to paint light. Before doing this, double check if your smartphone is near your watercolor paper. You might want to move that away or you'll get a snowy smartphone instead. Right, so upon completing the branches and adding the snow, the upper left part seems bare. So I decided to add few more branches. I'm excited to see your version of this painting, so please upload your lovely artwork in the link below or above. Don't forget the snow. That's the final touch for our painting and we're nearly done. And here's our winter scene painting. Hope you had fun. Bye!